Alright, everyone. Apologies for the slightly elongated intro. And let me figure out why this game isn't being captured. Humdy humdy hum. I wasn't planning on streaming tonight, but then I was like, you know what? It could be a nice way to relax. I also saw it. I was like, oh, you know, it might be fun to tell the story about the Cobra to Aesop swap. And what I think was going on with that. So we might do that and do a little bit of post-worlds debrief. Oh, that's not what I want. Let's get some music back in here. And we'll slay some Spire. And let's see. Yeah, cold lava. I do honestly think like there's a non-zero chance I fall asleep in the middle of the stream. Hey Jai, it was great to see you. Eric Hyde, no rest for the weary. I'm glad my streaming week is next week. Jeff, after our flight, I got off the plane, used the restroom, then sprinted back to the plane just in time to get your coalescence method you had left on there. Well, I'm glad you didn't leave it behind. That would have been unfortunate. But yeah. I'm off of, like, I think I won an 820 run on my phone and then also on my computer within 24 hours, which is way better than I usually do. So we're going to see if we can get this going. We're going to start with a silent. Silent's nice and relaxing. Jar, are you still in the States or have you headed back home? All right. So I don't love 5 hallway fights. Like this path, it's the only nice thing about it is 2 elites. But this path also has 2 elites and is like 1, 2, 3 campfires. And lets me decide after this event if I want to go left or right. I don't get a guaranteed shop. Honestly, I might do a random rare card and see where that lands us. Explosion's actually... It's not my favorite, but it's definitely playable. You're in SF till Thursday. Nice. I hope you're enjoying your time there. Oh, this fight's looking dicey. Crashing. I'm sure you'll find a place. It's cool that QTM's doing stuff this far out from Worlds. Appreciate it, Meter. It's alright. I'm probably going too fast to be... Ooh, okay. Well, that corpse explosion suddenly looks quite good. Yeah, I don't see a reason not to take this. Hey, Kat. It was a... I'm not gonna lie. It was a rough day at work today, but I just kind of ducked out early, and that gave me some energy. It gave me enough energy to play Arc Nova twice, because I definitely don't have a problem with playing Arc Nova. I won one, and then lost the next one by 3 points, which was pretty brutal. Do I have 16 here? I don't. Oh. Tragedy. I got off work pretty early. I left work at 4 today, so that's partly how I'm alive and streaming. Like, Caltrops is actually good into this act boss. And... yeah, I want to go... let's see. The thing is, like, Caltrops is useless against Gremlin Knob. It's useless against Lagavulin. And both of those are fights that we're struggling. Well, I think Lagavulin is just solved by Corpse Explosion Catalyst. Because we'll be doing 6, and then probably somewhere between 10 and then 8 on the Catalyst, depending on how they line up. And then... Gremlin Knob we just die to, I think. And, yeah, I don't know. I also love me a Blade Dance, but I actually think when we have this poison engine, I don't really want stuff in the way. Piercing Whale is bad against everything but the one fight I feel like we solved. So I guess this is a very odd skip. Like, Caltrops is so good into this Act Boss, though. We're going to take it. Come on, get me Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion, how do you do this to me? How are you always the bottom card of the deck? I think these are all skips. I normally have been taking Terror a lot more than I used to. And it's even good in this act, but I think we're going for poisons, I think. Oh my goodness, Corpse Explosion one frickin' time, please. Let's see if we can draw it. No. Okay. Okay, I mean, you do you, deck. I'll just be over here in the corner sobbing. That was a 50-50 like 3 times now that it's been in the bottom. Holy frickin' goodness. I guess I'm only taking 5. Okay. Oh, this doesn't even kill. Oh. Oh my goodness, what a frickin' misplay. Oh, that's a costly one. Crippling Cloud seems quite good here. So, let's get some additional poison. Okay, this is actually a pretty good fight starter. What do I want? A Quick Slash? I think maybe no, because I have 3 good draws in here. And we'll find out how punished we would have been. Yeah, that's actually... I do think I prefer this turn with putting the Caltrops down. Though this is getting scary very quickly. I'm actually probably just guaranteed dead, I think. So if I can somehow survive this turn, I have to draw... Wait. Yeah, I have to draw the neutralize, and I did. Frickin' God Gaming. Hey, Andre. Good job to you as well. Thank you for coming out and being a core part of the stream team. And thank you. Oh, and we get an Omamori out of this? That's brutal. I think these are all skips. I don't think any of these do anything for me. Alright, well, I think we're just dead now. And maybe that was the reason to not go this way. I'll say no to the Stone Calendar. I could go this way and try and rest again. See if we can draw a second defend. Seems good. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna pot here. Just reduce the amount of damage. Yeah, Eric, happy to do it. I'll do an Ironclad run after this one. I think we're gonna not cause the split here. Because we can cause it here, and that's much better. Oh, now I just need to survive this turn, and then the fight's over. I'm not going to survive this turn. Wow, I'm actually literally not going to survive this turn. Oof. Wow, okay. Woof. Yeah. Man. That was quite the draw. Well, Eric, I'm not sure you should listen to me on Spire advice, but let's do some Ironclad here. Earlier move is good. Don't love Slime Boss. Might actually be a thing where we could take, not Feed and Fire, whatever the Belching Fire is. I feel like just taking an early card remove here. Oh, you know what? With Ironclad, I should be taking the rare colorless for, I forget what that was. I think it was HP loss. And getting like Hand of Greed would be amazing. Do I bash here? I have 6 damage next, or 12 damage. So I think I do actually have to bash. I have to bash and strike. Or just draw the last strike. Okay. That was definitely suboptimal, but... Alright, have a nice story time, Eric. Should I take the early Thunderclap? I actually think it's probably decent here. Oof. Yeah. Okay. What am I thinking? Maybe after this, after I die on this run, we'll talk a little bit about what happened with Cobra and why it's both my fault and it was also pretty cool to fix. I think an early Dark Embrace is probably okay here. It's not very good. I don't have to have that good of an act though. So I might go for a speculative early Dark Embrace and try and pick up 2 more card rewards here. This is just a scenario where the Dark Embrace is just going to be a curse for quite a while, which is definitely makes it a bit questionable. Well, amusingly, this probably is a Whirlwind deck with Slime Boss. Wow, I'm going to do all my bad, fun habits. Okay. Yep, just full block out, even though it doesn't actually block for very much. Don't really have much choice. I'm almost guaranteed to draw that strike. Okay, the Whirlwind, I should say. Pommel Strike I probably take. Yeah, I mean, Battle Trance was definitely a consideration there. Warcry is a consideration here. Because we have the Dark... I guess Warcry with Dark Embraces... I guess it's just like draw a card. Because it's +2 minus the 1. I do like a Pommel Strike. I think we're going to take it just for a little bit of extra damage. Okay, well, a offering on sale and a card remove seems quite good here. So we have a lot of engine pieces, or we have a lot of accelerations. Now we just need to accelerate into something. I think I'm going to take the extra vulnerable. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Cold Lava. I mean, so I feel a little bad about it because, like, people were coming up fairly early in the event and saying, hey, I think something might be wrong. And I was like, oh, I think there's, hey, Big Bonkle. Like, I think there's a, I was like, oh, I think there's a reasonable explanation for that. And, then when I went and looked on where there was some discussion, and like Jono in particular was talking about it, he's like, oh, I think this might be the problem. And I'm like, oh shit, there's like an actual like problem I have to solve. And I kind of was like, shit, I do need to sort this out. So what that ended up involving was I took my break. I think Nick, James, and I all scheduled like breaks for everyone. I don't no one ever came and told me, hey Jeff, you're supposed to be on break right now. And I think in next year that is a thing I need to be like, hey guys, I'm not going to want to take my break. You have to make me take my break. Is going to be a thing I need to like emphasize more than I did. We'll just save a little bit of health here. Do I have to offering here so that I don't die? I don't want to spend another offering. But I think I take more I think I take more than 6 damage most of the time. If I don't offering there. Okay, so sentries I sometimes kill, but often don't. Lagavulin I definitely don't, so I think we skip this elite as much as I would love to fight it. We're going to try and avoid playing the offering to see if we can actually go positive on HP this fight. No, we cannot. We can go close-ish, though. Here, I can't tell if you're, like, several minutes behind or not. Just as a thing to maybe check out. I don't know how bad the delay on my stream is. But yeah, basically for the switch out, I like went into my room for 1 round. I was like, okay, I can transfer every player into ASOPs. It's gonna be a pain, but I like could do it from the Cobra JSON export. So the next thing I need to then do was figure out, ooh, all right, I need to draw something very good here. I did not draw the whirlwind, that's a problem. Oh, this is probably lethal. Not quite, but I think this is okay. Alright, do I just take a Searing Blow and upgrade it? I think not. How many strikes do I have? Ah! 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all skips. Gouged and trampled by a horned beast. This is Gremlin Knob, so I can kill in 2 turns, or 3 turns, I can do it. Because he's the one act boss that doesn't get harder. Actually, I guess I have to kill this turn now. So what actually caused Cobra to die was it didn't really die. Yeah, this is not a fight I should have taken. Can I do 47 magically next turn? Absolutely not. Yeah, this was a silly decision. Oh, you know what? Havoc was probably my one out there. Yeah, because Havoc into Strike would have maybe done it. Yeah, Perfected Strike is definitely an interesting thought there. Okay, we'll play less like a doofus maybe. So, from my understanding, and maybe we'll do... Not yet, Lucille. We can have that in a moment, but... Nope, nope, nope. Okay, we'll take 7 HP. Yeah, this is probably... Ooh, this is a nice path if I can get some early power, and I can just pivot off if I do badly. Fucking Jawworm is such a pain in the ass. So what was happening, and like this is not like 100% confirmed, but what my understanding of what was likely happening with Cobra was Cobra, like single-sided Swiss was meant to be a change to the pairing algorithm. I think this is probably just a twin strike. I don't love, but you just need a little bit more damage, and it scales okay. So, like, Cobra was written quite a while ago, and it makes certain concessions to be efficient at high player counts. And so it does something that's very rational in the Cobra world, where it says, hey, only take people of the same strength and try and pair them first if your tournament gets very large. If your tournament's small, you can check the optimal pairings for everything. So when Jono updated stuff, I think he left that, hey, in a big tournament, do this thing. And then when my goodness, I am too tired. When Plural went to like change that implementation to be exactly mine, he changed that. And when I tested it, and like this is, I want to say very clearly, Plural did not make any, like this is the mistake here is on me for not testing a 200 person event far enough to see this problem occur. And that was on me. Like, I was given plenty of time to test, plenty of opportunities for feedback, and I just didn't test this part of it with these numbers. I tested it at small numbers that I could easily enter and do stuff with. And so for those, John, like the algorithm that's in Cobra or t.nullsignal.games, tournament.nullsignal.games, matches exactly what Aesop's does. But my assumption, but is not proven yet, is that Cobra was saying, oh, I'm going to grab people of the same player and then do the best I can within a certain point bracket. And that was causing some more pair up. It was causing it to overweight points and basically just not optimize side balance much at all. Like, it would do it within a point bracket, but not between point brackets, which is sort of the whole point of the algorithm. Yeah, so that was not great. Now, the thing that's actually disappointing to me is I gave Cobra rounds 8, 9, or it was round, I think round 9, 10, and 11 we did in Cobra. And somehow, some players still ended up +2 in the end. And I have to go back and dig onto why. Because I was under the assumption that the tournament was not too far gone at that point. My working theory is that 9, 10, 11, it kind of balanced out, but then when we sliced after round 11, there was like +3 total runner +1s in the top 51, and so over the next 3 rounds, it couldn't balance that out because there was basically just 3 people with buys kind of thing. But I still don't know why. I believe D ended up with runner +2. That's sort of where I'm at with it. These are all skips, which is a bummer. I'm definitely not getting the early power I was hoping for. I'm not a big... I guess with Ironclad, Desecration's more okay, but... So, like, I'm probably going to look at the math a bit and try and figure out, like, was it that we had bifurcated in the standings? I kind of find that hard to believe we had bifurcated in the standings that much. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll look at the math of this later. I'm very curious about it. It's also like part of me is like, at the same time, I had also broken the buy very slightly, and so that was an annoying one too. Let's see. So if I take this 150, I fight this, go this way. I have like 2 fights with it. I think that's actually maybe worth it. Which is like, maybe I should have taken the more gold for the less debilitating one. But, oh, we can just actually... Oh no, if I do this though, I'm going to do this, not doubt. Thanks, Narco. Yeah, it was a good event, and the team really did. Oh my freaking goodness, Doubt. What the heck is wrong with you? So yeah, I need to figure out why Aesop's was not able to fully recover it, but I think it is what it is, and I suspect if UK Nats wants to use Cobra, it's not like a difficult bug to fix, and I think actually the solution is just to fix. I was talking with Plural a bit, and this is a problem I hate with Aesop's. So both Cobra and Aesop's use a ORM, an object relational mapper, to like make working with a database just like much simpler and easier. But what we end up paying for in that equation is that while it's simpler and easier, if you don't know if you do something a little bit wrong, I don't really want Barricade. I could actually think about taking Sever Soul. Actually, I might take Sever Soul here. What I know was happening with me at one point, and what Plural thinks happened to Jono, was that the ORM was causing us to query things like that we didn't need to query every time. And so instead we would like hit issues where like we'd be hitting the database a million freaking times. So like I don't even know this is actually an ORM thing. I think this might actually just be Jono and I making a similar design pattern mistake, where we say, oh, we need to look up the strength of schedule of everyone and check everyone's opponents. And the way we're going to do that is instead of loading every player into memory and then querying against that, we're just going to call the database, because caching is hard and knowing when to cache and validate and when to not is tricky. And it's like a thing where, like, if you go and look at Aesop's right now, I have put in a really clumsy manually implemented cache so that I didn't have to learn how to manage the cache with my ORM. And then, like, at that point, maybe I shouldn't have used an ORM. Like, I'm not even sure that the ORM is the problem there. It's like, oh, if I had written my code if I had just written a function that calls my database in SQL, I'd be hitting the same issue. It's just that I haven't loaded things into my memory. In like an appropriate way when I need to optimize. And so the easy way, like a good solution that Jono did, which I think was like we need to fix a problem today, was to just say, oh, what if we just look at fewer things? And I think that's a very, it was a good solution, and it works especially for that type of algorithm. It doesn't work as well with the algorithm that Aesop's is using. And there's probably things you could do to make it a better fit, but it just, like, the two ended up having some conflicts, and then, things go the way they did. But yeah, basically what ended up happening, I actually think I might be buying this power through, even though I just went and removed curses and stuff. Plus 15 block is very good. Nothing else. I like Dahlia's mirror showing up here is not ideal. Uppercut I don't think is good enough. I don't like my potions, but I don't really want to spend 50 gold on these. Actually, is buying threaded needle? That's actually, hold on, we're gonna redo this shop because I do wonder about the waiting for side balance versus points is interesting. I think Aesop's way is +6 matchup points is worse than +2 side balance. Actually, it's supposed to be the other way around. +2 side balance is supposed to be worse than almost anything, I think. Though it might be that that's bugged a little bit. It's supposed to be that... Wait, hold on. Now I have to go look at my code quickly. Hold on. We're going to pull this up and... Wow, okay. Sorry about that. Yep. Well, okay, I'll say this again. I'm now actually quite confused as to why Aesop's didn't fix this. So the way this is working is it's getting the side balance for the 2 players, and then adding 1 to the corp, minusing 1 from the runner, because basically that's how I do it, is corp is positive, runner is negative. I take the maximum of the absolute value of these, and then raise 8 to that power. So it should cost 8 to have either player end up at +1, and then it should cost 64 to have either player caught at +2. And for the score cost, this function is going to go, it's a triangular number. So let's go in, here we'll just do Python def triangular num plus yeah, we'll just do num +1 times num divided by 6. Oh, and I forgot to put the return in here. Yeah. So if I do triangular, we're gonna 3, it says, yeah, it's only a cost of 2. If we do a triangular number of 6, our cost is 7. And then, like, if we go up 9 points, it should only be 15. Like, this should scale, it should go pretty damn far to avoid having someone end up at +2. So now I'm confused as to why Aesop's allowed a +2. Ugh. Don't want to do debugging right now, but now this is going to bother me. Right, because Seb K, Timmy Wong both ended up at runner +2. I have to actually unpair rounds and stuff. This is the thing I need to figure out about fixing on Aesop's. Like, okay, so we know that there was basically +3 runner side. Hey, B-Plum, hope your travels are not going too badly. Though honestly, you're in Newark, so they're going pretty badly. Like, I don't see, like, what pairing was this in round 14? Hey, thank you, Toron. Okay, so Timmy Wong played against Cyber Shark. Because it's like, okay, let's say if we had swapped it. Because Cyber Shark is going to be balanced, right? Cyber Shark is balanced. So if instead... Oh, that means Cyber Shark was a +1. So yeah, one of those two had to be a +2. Oh, so that's basically the problem, is there's not... Okay. It may have actually been unavoidable because things were cut off, basically. And I bet if you... Okay. Let's do an easy thing here. Okay. Oh, I wonder... Alright, this is not showing up on the stream. Oh, it's definitely not showing up on the stream because I'm... Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to t equals... Yeah, I think this may be an interesting case of a bunch of different systems interacting in a way that's unpleasant. Okay. T.players, great. T.player, let's see, let's just try this for P in T.players, P.side balance. Let's print this because I'm a lazy coder. And then we're just gonna break because it's either gonna, yeah, okay, it doesn't have that attribute. Where are you, player? Not in my business. I hate how I've organized this system. I hate it. Oh. I don't have... Oh, it's like a function I call. I forget how this works, right? Get record, get side balance. Okay. Yay. From Aesop's business logic... players import get side balance. Okay. I will say running total equals 0 for player in t.players running total plus equals get side balance player. And this is gonna be a little bit slow. And then print running total. Yeah. Okay, so over the whole tournament it's balanced, but if I just do running total plus equals, well, we know what this is, get side balance player print running total. This should be +3 or -4. Okay. Why is it -4? Oh, there's the -4. Right, yeah, there's the -4. Okay. And then, yeah, if we go... Yeah, if we do 4 player in T... I mean, we know definitionally that means there's +4 corps just below 51 wins. So, turns out, I guess, if you want to be in the top 51 players, you had to play more runner games than corp games, which is a weird finding for this corp meta. Lucille asking, does it pair iteratively or does it try to solve for best pairings? So the way it's working under the hood is it's trying to solve a network minimization algorithm. So it's trying to minimize the entire network. And it's it's just calling a max weight matching. Where basically the way I do this is I say because I like to think of everything as costs, I just say, oh, we're going to do 1,000 minus all of these costs that I've calculated, and then just minimize this graph. Yeah, Cold Lava. Someone did get a buy in round 1, and then someone dropped. Someone did get a buy round 1 of day 2, and then someone dropped, and so there was no buys for the rest of the time. But yeah, that's kind of okay. I feel less bad about that. I think it's very hard to, it might have just been extremely hard to uncurse that setup. Which makes me feel better. Okay, now that we have 10 block a turn for 0 energy, I'm like less worried about hallway fights. So we don't do the 10 damage because that would split. Yeah, Cold Lava, I felt weird about it. I don't think there's like a way to avoid giving someone the buy, because like making a player who has no chance of making the cut mathematically play seems like a bad option. Telling the lowest ranked player they missed day 2 also seems like a bad option, because they do technically have, like, they had a path to winning or like making it to the top cut if they like win out, right? So like I don't know what to do other than just like say, I guess this is what's going to be. Man, fire breathing is going to be bad here, but it's kind of okay against this one boss in particular. Man, I think it's just bad. Yeah, I'm not. If I had taken the actually, I think my defense are weaker than my strikes right now. If I can kill this guy, yeah, I think we just spend a potion. Do they though? When SOS is the tiebreakers, is there even a path for them to make top 10? Cold Lava, I'd have to do the math. I think if, like, because strength of schedule isn't accounted for when doing pairings, like, I could see, like, oh, let's say they play against the high, like, let's go and see, right? So, hold on. Oop, that's the wrong button. Okay. So, actually, I don't remember. Oh, it was Cardboard, I think, because he was cheated out. Like, he didn't show up as the buy, which is a bummer. I like messed something up in Aesop's with the buy, and that's been the thing. But like, okay, goes into round 1 at 21 points. Actually, you know what? I think I can say that's definitely true, that it was possible to make it, because like you needed the 30 points, so they would have needed to win all 3, and then like, okay, so final strength of schedule here for 51 was like 1.4. And then at 30, 1.6. Like, I think it's possible if they had won out on the 3 their opponents had played and played against, like, strong enough people that you could get that up by 0.2. It does interact with strength of schedule in some way, in that it basically, that round doesn't, they're considered to have played one fewer opponent for their strength of schedule. You could assign the buy to the highest seeded players or word for good play instead. Honestly, Toron, that's probably correct, because like, I don't think Jai actually played a game on day 2. Jai did not play a game on day 2, and so awarding him the buy actually probably would have been the better move. And like one of those IDs he got because of a very particular set of circumstances. But in retrospect, when thinking about this, and this is a thing that like I don't think many people are in, but like, yeah, probably just awarding the Jai the buy would have had the least impact on the tournament, but still kind of allowed everyone who had at least a theoretical chance to make the top cut actually get that opportunity. I do actually like power through here. I feel like, because this is a 1-card block for 15. Yeah, Chris, I feel tragic both for that and for repairing the round into a team kill. When Meteor was asking, like, oh, how did it feel to knock out 3 of your teammates? I thought Meteor was talking to me for for the round pair, and that was tough. Especially because, well, like, and this is I did the repair because I thought it would maybe fix the +2s. And it did not fix the +2s, and that was tragic. But and like I thought it made sense too at the time. I didn't think it would make. I figured like, oh, it's either going to be static or it's going to actually fix the problems, and it sort of did neither, which was funny. At least it was funny to me. I feel bad for both Chris and Kat, and also, it's a lot of tough beats for everyone. But yeah, gotta analyze Chris, Man the Moon, both bubbling by what, 0.11 strength of schedule. No, 0.09 strength of schedule, and a little bit more for Abraham. That is how it goes. And like, I know as I say that, I'm like, oh, I'm feeding into the strength of schedule is just random propaganda. But like, the thing that strength of schedule really does end up reflecting is that when you lose early, your average opponent's skill is usually lower, and so that's what gets reflected in the strength of schedule. And like it's weird that it works out, and like I don't have a mathematical proof for it, but that is generally how it works out. Is that when you lose early, you tend to then play against worse opponents, which then tends to mean that your strength of schedule is lower. Oh, this was a turn to power through. We're gonna not just play on total autopilot. Bing Bonkle, tragic. We didn't get 2 copies of Freedom in the Cut with corpse spread. But some people have to bubble, and that's just the way it went. Yeah. Like, here's the honest truth. I think this was a tournament where... Oh, hold on. Let me transition away from the Hexagos fight for a second. All of these names in the top 16 deserved it. So did these names in the top... You know, in the top 32... I can spot a few players who I'm like, oh, they're good, but maybe not, like, top level. But, you know, you still get players like Riel. You get players like, I mean, Ion Fox has been doing a lot. Saf's been doing a lot. Whiteblade's been doing a lot. Keiser's been doing a lot. And I know I'm being rude to a couple players. I think Oddradish actually has been having a very good year. I don't remember off the top of my head. Like, there are so many good players. Like, Pylu had a fantastic season. And, you know, effectively misses the cut by, like... Yeah, it's 2 games, but, like, you know, there are many, like, Worlds is, you know, of the 200 players, yeah, I actually think this year there was, like, 60-something players in contention for the top 16. So, like, I mean, that's super cool, but, yeah. Oh yeah, Oddradish is I keep feeling that's Oddradish. I don't know why, Beeblum. Yeah, he's been doing great. It's been very impressive. Do you think? Yeah, I don't think summer reading is like. I think somewhat nicely, like, summer reading is bad. It can work, but it's, like, it is actually suboptimal with, oh, excuse me. We're gonna drink another plated armor so we can go up to 16. Yeah, I feel bad for forgetting that that's who Oddradish. I feel even worse for forgetting his actual name. I'm not gonna say it on screen. A candidate popped into my head, but, especially because he has been he and you as well, people, have been extremely kind to me this year. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get dinner with y'all this week. So yeah, I mean, this Worlds format. Someone did ask though. Yeah, okay. Colin was the name that came into my head eventually, but I was like, oh well, I don't want to just shout his name out on stream for no reason. But I think summer reading could potentially increase your odds of making the top cut, but it's super dependent on facing worse opponents. Ooh, this could be a corruption deck. I mean, it's not actually a good corruption deck right now, amusingly. It's not a good Actually, you know what? Juggernaut just says deal 5 damage. No, it says deal 10 damage for free. It's actually not bad. 2 energy to deal 10, and then to deal 10, and then to deal whatever. So Toran, I think it's like, summer reading can get you into the top cut, but I think it is probably the harder of the 2 paths, because if you quickly reach the top, so like, I guess what I would say is like, if you play some of the strongest players in the first couple rounds, lose a bit and come back down, you're now playing the best of the people that are at your skill level, and then you probably get to like bounce off them, I guess, which is the way I think about it. So your strength of schedule actually will stay a bit higher. Whereas if you submarine, you're gonna like hit more people that might just be like at the bottom. Whereas if you like shoot up and then fall down and then go back up into the place of the cut, I think that like on average means your strength of schedule is higher, because all the people you're playing up here are guaranteed to finish with relatively high strength of schedules. All the people you're playing in the when you're starting your submarine climb are the ones that can end up at lower strength of schedules. But I haven't done the math on it, and like the math on how often people should 2-for-1 surprised me. I liked how in Toronto there were tiebreaker rounds for the bubble. So Beeblum, we intentionally did away with tiebreaker rounds because in 2022, I think, or maybe it was 2023 where we tracked it. I think it was 2022. We tracked the tiebreaker rounds, and across all 3 continentals and worlds, the tiebreaker rounds changed 1 total place. Yeah, okay, it was 22. Yeah. And, like, I don't think that's an actual statistic. Like, that's not a good reason to get rid of tiebreaker rounds. But, I think it's also just, like, it adds a pretty substantial amount of time. Like, I think to me it's like, does holding the entire event up an hour so that, like, you know, so that Analyze Chris and Man the Moon get a shot? Like, I don't know. We've already had 14 hours of Netrunner. And, like, yes, there's some bit of luck, but there's also some bit of not luck to this. Oh, I realize I'm pointing at stuff on my screen that I didn't switch over to. Yeah, having him at the very end when everyone else can go home is a different thing, for sure. I think this is probably an Astrolabe. Slaver's Collar is okay, but like my deck doesn't even do anything with extra energy, so we're gonna Astrolabe it up. I think we'll get rid of like. Do I just get rid of 3 defense here? Let's try it. I mean, those are much better cards than defense. Yeah. I mean, even at Barcelona, we had to do day 2 of Swiss. Yeah. I don't know. The thing I'm not going to, that's not going to happen, I think, would be just making it a top. Because, like, we started at 1, and we had a dinner break, but we would have been there till a truly ungodly hour. If a couple things hadn't broken our way. Oh, wow, that's a damageless fight. That's sick. I don't want a top 32 cut. I would rather do a top 8 cut with 1 or 2 more rounds of Swiss. Submarine can be real for medium-sized tournaments with a pretty skewed skill distribution. Yeah, Otrokun, I think that's actually correct. That's like, when I've submarined, it's like, oh, I am in the like top X players here, but I'm not in the top like 3 to 4 players here. So submarining can get me into the cut, but like if I'm in that like, but in this where, and yeah, it is where like I'm like, oh yeah, there can be a big gap, but yeah, okay. I think these are all skips. We could think about taking the drop kick. It's not actually terrible here. I might take it for a little bit extra damage. This is gonna hurt. Yeah, I mean, Anarcho, that is part of why I'm interested in it, is that basically, as far as I can tell, virtually every other card game just does 8 rounds of what am I thinking? Do I want Rage? Actually, this... Okay, Rage plus Juggernaut is sick, so we're going to try it out. Yeah, Analyze Chris, like, super late Swiss rounds are basically a cut. And you're just changing You're changing double limb rounds into single limb rounds. I'm trying to do some math on making your final round of Swiss weird. For tables know ahead of time if their table can qualify for a cut price, but that's the way to win this game, not strength of schedule. Oh, yeah, Lucille, I've done that, but it's, or, like, I haven't done that. I definitely have not done that. I've definitely been at events where they tried to be like, okay, this person is guaranteed top cut, so we're going to pair him against the worst player in the event. I say him because I'm reflecting back on this happening to me in a GNK, where I got paired against the guy who was, like, destroying the event with Astro Train and Andy, and I was playing absolutely junk nonsense. Like, I think I was probably playing like an HB. I was probably playing like ETF with like encrypted portals or something. So, and yeah, Odd Radish, I do think like there is a like the social stakes of top 16 of making the cut versus missing the cut, I think are like they're real, but I also think there's something that like they are social, and I think there's ways to like change and inform that. So hold on. Don't think so. I think 16 double limb is only one more round. I don't think that's true, but hold on. Because it's... one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, potentially 9. Top 8. Maybe it is only just one fewer round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it is 2 fewer rounds. To do a top 8 double limb. And like does a top like it actually what I wasn't thinking about this but like the time to read lists actually slows down the event meaningfully. Yeah, so the problem with that, Lucille, like if we think about okay, so let's go back and we say that 30 is the cutoff. How many of these players ID'd? That is probably an ID. That's probably an ID. That's probably an ID. Okay, so we're going to say all the players at 31 did an ID. So we have, like, we have 9 spots guaranteed. And then, wait, what's... On All Radish, I'm so confused. What you mean by an instant pot? So then we have like if we have 9 spots guaranteed, we have just like 7 spots left, and we have like if you count the 30s plus all the 37s, we have more than 7 people playing for those spots. Okay, but why did Instant Pot come up in the chat? What did I say that made people think about Instant Pots? I'm so confused. Did I... Now I'm... Oh, it was an ad on the page. Oh. Genuinely, I was just like, oh, there's lots of ads. My brain's just going to tune them out. Okay. Because it's like everyone at... well, not everyone at 27, but... yeah. Next year, I would love to have, like, meals be part of the event. The problem is, like, admittedly, this is because this hotel was a very expensive hotel. But when I asked them what the catering cost for lunch was, I almost laughed out loud because it was a single lunch was more than we were going to charge for the entire ticket for anyone. Does adding more Swiss do much in fighting against IDing and gaming the tournament structure? No, it will allow more IDing, but it will reduce the amount that... like, there is actually diminishing returns of adding more rounds, because once you, like... There's still always going to be a point where you just win, and then you start IDing against other people who have crossed that threshold. I think I want the earlier event. Yeah, the hotel, like, I know people had very fair complaints about the price of the hotel. I felt in general they did pretty well by us, I think. They were very accommodating of a lot of things. So, like, I'm not too torn. Like, you know, there's things I that have informed my decision on how we think about things for next year. But, like, I don't regret too many choices about the venue and stuff. Do you have any Worlds highlights you haven't shared yet, Jeff? I mean, so I will say, so I don't know. This is like like, this is everything at Worlds where I'm like, oh, this like is a highlight or a low light. Like, everything feels like it's two-faced right now, which is a little bit unfair. I should actually say the real highlight for me really is like how phenomenal all of the volunteers were. Like, I need to, like, Nick and James were, like, they have been, like, planning Worlds with me since, like, January. And genuinely, like, they have thought about Worlds so long and so hard, it would not have happened without them. And then, like, John, the Remix, the head of NSG's, like, marketing and conventions, just, like, absolutely crushed it. Like, he showed up, I just, like, basically 3 months before Worlds, just was like, hey, I have all these problems, can you just come and help with sales? And then, like, John did so much more than that. Like, I don't know, the volunteer team, like, I know I've been shouting them out, and, like, it sounds like I'm trying to deflect praise, but, like, they genuinely... like, they did so many amazing things, and they were all such joys to work with, and no one was like, oh, how did you not think of this? Like, it was all just people pulling together, and that was such a cool and amazing thing to be in front of. I will say, like, the other cool thing for me is basically, once it was pretty clear that Cobra was having, like, real issues, I had, like, 3 people come up to me in a round and say they were all at +2 or on one side or the other. I just said, I'm going to take them a break, went up to my hotel room in the space of 1 round, had figured out how to import everyone, came back to the venue, figured out how to import every single match into ASOPs, and then had it up and running. So, like, at round... Yeah, because we had our lunch break at round 5. After that, at round 6, I went, oh shit, something's really wrong. Round 7, I go up to my room. Round 8, I like get all the matches in, and then we pause for 10 minutes while 2 people like do all of the final checks. And yeah, that was pretty cool. And then it like immediately crashed, which was very, very funny. And then the fix was just walking over to Hiroku and saying, oh, instead of giving me 1 computer, give me 4 computers, and go from spending 10 cents an hour to 40 cents an hour, and give it like 2 minutes, and then everything seemed fine for the rest of the day. So that's good. And yeah, like I got very lucky that the underlying data architectures for both systems were pretty simple. I'll also go and find the code I wrote for that. It was not pretty. I had to make like because obviously like Cobra's, the way that Cobra stores match data is it very intelligently just stores the player IDs, and instead of like, because it's meant for double-sided Swiss, it just added a thing called the roll, and so I just had to write some really gnarly code to just be like, okay, parse this match and figure out who was playing what side and who won, and then I just like wrote all my commands in the practice environment, then like basically copy and pasted them into my terminal that I like SSH'd into the Heroku server, and just applied everything. Do you think you could extend your tool to make the conversion consistently? Yeah, I think I could. I actually think my code almost does that today. So it's definitely something that I could like think about publishing. It's ugly as hell, and I think if I was like, I was trying to come up with the fastest solution, not the like most code elegant solution. These are all skips. Excuse me. But like I'm very proud that it worked, even though I feel quite silly for basically missing the like pretty obvious test case that would have made it not happen at all. So that's why I mean, like, everything feels like it's two-faced, where I'm like, oh, this went wrong, and I'm really proud of how me and the team handled it. But, oh, I should have played Rage there. That would have just, that would have just been, yeah, that would have been a ton of extra damage. Ugh. Oh, well. Fuck, that actually is the difference between taking, hold on, we're gonna play this fight correctly. Because, like, if I play this fight correctly, I actually take no damage, and that's, like, that's so much better than the amount of damage I did take. So yeah, I mean, that was pretty cool, too. And that was, like, a real highlight moment, that, like, I was like, I think I can make this work, and then making that work. Like, the other thing that was cool about that to me is, like, that is a moment of competence that I usually think of anything I code as being like guaranteed to fail, and like it worked, and that's super cool that I can just like make a change and it worked, and that was sick from someone who like does not think of myself as a particularly competent coder. Boo, don't attack me, you jerk. Let's get some more attacks in here. Well, that's bad. These are all bad attacks. I also need to start getting some Netrunner stuff up on my wall behind me here, because I got so many nice stuff from people at Worlds, so that was very nice. Are you a software engineer for a living? No, I'm a chemist for a living. I have been doing like data science coding in my job extensively lately. So like my next little period is going to be just coding, but it's not really my profession. So, don't make me... You're gonna make me hit this guy, you jerk. Okay, so what I really need right now is, like, draw, and I probably do need to get rid of my strikes at this point. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. I also, like, I do think that single-sided Swiss was a pretty big success for Worlds. Do I think it was a perfect solution? No. I definitely had some people complaining at me about how quickly the round transitions were. I didn't really try to slow them down, but I did try and be more explicit about the timing between them, so that people could at least, like, anticipate and understand that I was asking them to move. You know, it's also, like, we were shockingly on schedule for basically the entire time up until the top cut, which is not something I was expecting to be able to say. Like, I'm just very used to hearing horror stories about Worlds going incredibly poorly. And so I was like, okay, I'm just waiting for that bombshell to drop, and yeah, like, I know that the transitions were rushed. I think, honestly, like, if I was to really think about that, I would probably just make them, like, nearly automatic. I think, like, the thing was that, yeah, that's also fair, Bing Bonkle, that not being able to snack or drink between rounds was a problem. And, like, that is a thing I'm going to be looking into for next year of, like, okay, when picking a venue, I have to find a way so that we can allow some amount of outside food and drink. Because, yeah, it's, people need to be able to snack, but... yeah, no, Chris, I do think people... So it was very like, Austin and I were talking about this, and it was like, Austin was like, oh, I wonder how many, like, if we changed it from 40 to 45, how many additional games would finish on time? And I was like, I actually don't think very many. Because at least my experience with single-sided Swiss has been, the games that finish, there are a lot of games that finish between 35 and 40 minutes. But there are not that many games that finish between 40 and 45 minutes. The games that are still going at 40 minutes are probably still going at 45 minutes, and they might even still be going at 50 minutes. But, like, do I have data for that? No, I don't. It is very, very vibesy. But... And yeah, I don't mind people disagreeing with me, and I think it's something we can definitely explore. But... do I want second win? Do I have things I can second win? This is the better question. I would love second win into the stack. Fuck, I would love... Well, I mean, this deck just needs a Fiend Fire, and then it, like, absolutely blows up. Actually, if I get a Fiend Fire, I can go infinite. Well, not really. I can almost go infinite. I don't think I need this second win as much as I really want it, but... Oh, that was seeing red. Oh well. Lol, oops. And doing... Oh, I guess I wasn't doing 15 damage. I'm just doing 10 there. I think True Grit first does the most damage. And then that should kill. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I do think... Yeah, I do think that, like, I would much rather... I think 40 versus 45 does make a difference for some people. Yeah, I'll put that in the survey, Ben. It is tricky to... Like... That is a difficult one to, I think, get right on a survey. Not that I don't think it's still valuable to ask. But I think it's very difficult to know the like what the right counterfactual is if I'm thinking about that as a player. But maybe that's me, like, biasing things too much, which I think is a totally fair read. 8 plus 8. Yeah, I should have this. Won't quite full block this, but oh. There are design decisions that produce timers. That Band comes to mind. Very funny. I don't think I scale into this fight at all. So we're just going to hope that dealing 4 extra damage a turn does it. Oh, I should probably... Oh no, I didn't play the Juggernaut yet. I might dupe-pot the Juggernaut. I think we are going to dupe-pot the Juggernaut. Maybe I should dupe-pot the Metallicize, though. Upgrade Rampage might have been correct. Yeah, I could see that. Oh, I forgot to play my Rage. Yikes. Holy shit, I'm like throwing out damage. I might be dead though, because I played this incorrectly. 66, and I'm only blocking for 13, which is 54. And I have no defense in my discard pile. Tragic. Yeah, if I get a if I get a vulnerable there, I actually survive that turn because he goes down from doing 66 to 44. I live, and I probably just kill the following turn. But, you know, that's just how you draw sometimes. I didn't put any extra draw in the deck, so it's not that Not gonna do much, but yeah, I mean, like, time is always gonna be a difficult thing. I guess, like, from my perspective, like, every decision comes at costs. And adding 5 minutes to a 14-round event adds, what is that? An hour and 10 to the total runtime. And, like, it was already a freaking long day. And, like, I do think, like, maybe the right solution to say, oh, you should only run 13 rounds of Swiss. But then that makes the record you need to get in 9 and 3 rather than 10 and 4, I think. Or no, that doesn't add up. I think you have to be 10 and 3 to make the cut in a... Actually, we can do this. We can just pull up a cut calculator. So let's say we have 200 people, we have 13 rounds, and we have a top cut to 16. Okay, it says some 9... So basically, this is the thing, where it's like, oh yeah, you have a couple of 9 and 4 players, but this is actually enough that what they really probably are 9, 3, and 1 players. And that seems not good. And yeah, it's like 14 rounds I felt like was a pretty good compromise, because this is actually, like, I'm surprised the calculator worked this well, because usually people IDing messes this up, but we got basically exactly this. And, like, yeah, Chris, I'm sorry, but yeah. And it's like, okay, if we keep cranking this number up, like, let's say we go to 17. Kind of curious. Oh, okay, that's not the result I expected. That's interesting. Yeah. And then... Yeah, and then if you crank it up to 14, like, suddenly, like, most players will miss. Actually, I guess that would arguably be a clean cut, but... That's interesting. Another is saying you would have felt comfortable playing more Swiss. That's actually definitely a question we are going to ask. Was like, hey, was 11 rounds too many? Like, was doing 11 rounds in one day too much? Was the 3 rounds on day 2 too much? I also want to look at other options for type, like, something that I think I've talked about this on stream. I want to try to make an option for TOs for all casual and probably district level events, that you can cut your round timer by 2 minutes, but instead of doing turn 0, turn 1, you do a turn 0, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Hey, AA, I'm glad you had such a good time at Worlds. I had a blast, and I'm really glad so many people had a good time. That's like, it's like, I'm glad it was a ton of work, but it's like, it was genuinely great to see so many people have a good time and come up and say they had a good time. So yeah, like, I don't know how much adding, yeah, not like there is that thing where, like, yeah, I didn't do competitive debate. I did mock trial, the even nerdier version of competitive debate. I don't know if it's actually the even nerdier version. I think it arguably was, but yeah, that was just like, you would have to just be ready to do long days. Yeah. Current player's turn, other player's turn. Original current player gets a second turn. So that way, if you're Corp, you have the opportunity to install an agenda and try and score it. I don't know if FFG ever did it that way. If they did, I should probably figure out why they stopped doing it. But because, you know, I think with single-sided Swiss, which I think they also did originally, I think we found a decent solution. Yeah, no, Raj, I agree. I don't really care about the hierarchy of nerdiness, but it is like I need to be ready to be in top argumentative shape for like an entire day. Whether the Corp just always gets the last turn on time? Well, then the Corp is always getting +1 turn relative to the runner, right? I've had people propose that... Oh, I see your joke there, Eric. Very good, very good. Like, I've also had people propose, oh, the runner should always get the last turn, because that way both players have had the same number of turns. And, like, I actually don't care that strongly either way. I think that's not... that argument doesn't sway me very much. But it is, I think, a fair one to make. And then an Odd Radish asking what I would have brought. Let's see. I mean, I was trying to convince people to play Crew Hosh, and they all were smarter than me and went to either play Deep Dive, Combo Sable, and just good lat. And then Corp side, I wasn't gonna find like if we were to play Worlds again tomorrow, I would play the MCA Asa in a heartbeat. That deck looks so cool, but I don't know, like no one in the Snare Bears I think was testing Asa because that's supposed to be my job and I wasn't playing. So like I was just gonna take known lists just to like practice against them. So I wasn't like spending a lot of time on innovating Corp cycles. I would almost certainly have just played Jai's Intercontinental Asa list and gone like, well, realistically, let's say I managed to make it to day 2. I feel like I would probably be good enough to go like 5-2 with that list. Like, because I am a good Asa player. Now, with the amount of lat in the field, maybe not. But... yeah, and Odd Radish, I agree. It would be great if you could do Chess Clock Netrunner. I think it would be a genuine good for the game. And, like, I don't know how to... like, the run paid-ability window time passing is just too rough. Yeah, like, one of the reasons I was starting to think about the 2 turns thing, and I don't think this actually solves the problem, but, like, I remember seeing at NANBC Boston, Rongi Doge versus Santa, like, the way that game was progressing, it was clear whose ever turn it ended on was going to lose the game. Because I forget exactly what the permutation was, and it was just like, yeah, if time was called on Santa's turn, Santa couldn't land a kill. But if time was called on Rongi Doge's turn, Rongi Doge had to then try and steal an agenda to get a win, and would then die. But Santa couldn't win unless Rongi, like, went for a win and missed. And, like, it was just terrible. They were both just staring at me and at the clock, trying to wait to see what would happen. And it was just like, that fucking sucked. And the funny thing is, this proposal doesn't actually fix that problem at all, right? It doesn't fix it in the least. But yeah, it was just like, it was one of the most cursed games I'd ever think I'd watched. Oh, shit. That's just going to be a misclick, but... Yeah, Lucille, that's probably true. Like, you just have an increment clock is, like, a reasonable solution. And, like, you say, okay, the round is 40 minutes, you both get 15, and then you also have a 10-second increment, is maybe the way you do this. But the problem is you can't actually have a combined pool of thinking time. Because then as the corp, when the runner initiates a run, I just go thinking. And I start planning, I plan out every possible draw I could have next turn on the runner's time or on that common pool time. So that doesn't quite, like, I don't know, it's hard to make the chess clock thing work. I think I can actually take acrobatics against that guy. Every deck was playing crew or deep dive. I think that's probably true. I think they're both strong cards. I think, like... I mean, I've been having this argument. I'm going to lose this argument in... for sure. But... yeah, players need to discuss the manual resolution. The board state is another good reason it's very difficult to work. Like, part of the reason it works in chess and in JNet is that you have an unambiguous flow of actions. These are bad offerings. I have actually been doing pretty well with Shiv Silent lately. That's fair. I guess JNet as it is can't implement it, but it definitely I think it could if there was a lot of effort in it. I don't want infinite blades. Stop offering me shivs. Oh my god, this deck is garbage. I'm gonna have to skip an elite here. Infinite Blades is so bad into Guardian because you just get these things that you can't play. All out attack is like garbage. Infinite Blades isn't even good into any of the Act 1 elites. My deck is just garbage. I need to just hit card rewards that actually do something. Wait, what? I did my 3 hallway fights? Oh, that was a hallway fight. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Man, what a start. Yeah, Dagger Spray is a very good card. But the rest of my card rewards, this is like one of those like meme like silent runs that can't beat Lagavulin. I know if I had taken the accuracy, the Infinite Blades would actually be sick. But like you're not just gonna take a blind accuracy. 21. Oh, that's bad. All right, thanks for swinging by, Beeblum. It's great to chat with you about stuff, and I'll make sure that we ask some questions about round times. So. Another Dagger Spray or a Noxious Fumes are both interesting. This is like the boss where Noxious Fume actually has time. Yeah. So the first 3 hallway fights in Act 1 are guaranteed to come from the easy pool. So that's Jawworms, 2 Louses, and a Singular Cultist, and what's the other one? What's the last hallway fight? Oh, I think it's like a single slime. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up, but slay the Spire. 3 first floor fights. Oh, it's, yeah, slimes. Let's just go and check. Oh, I bet if I just search Act 1 on the Spire wiki. Yeah, so floor, yeah, your first 3 encounters are one of cultist, jawworm, 2 louses, and small slimes. And then in Act 2, your first 2 hallway fights are guaranteed to come from an easier card pool of... Oh goodness, 2 thieves. I can do this off the top of my head. Armor Orb, I forget what its actual name is. 3 birds, which I can't believe is an easy Act 2 hallway fight. And I think there's a 4th one. Now I have to just go and look. I feel like I should know this. I'm gonna blame being tired. First 2 encounters, Spheric Guardian, Chosen. Oh, right, the Shelled Parasite. Shelled Parasite as a solo Act 2 fight is so freaking... so rude. I can't believe that's in that pool of easy fights. Okay, with a strength pot, I think I can take most elites here. Okay, I don't think I want to put that potion in my deck. If you had a strength pot every fight that only worked on shivs and you passed it. Okay, so I don't... I can try this. No. We skip these. Oh, I don't find Act 2... I don't usually find 2 thieves to be that... Oh my... And we get a fucking duplication pot? Ah! Okay. I think I want Calculated Gamble over Burst here. And we just have to go hard left for that. Campfire. Oh, no, we don't. We go this way, and we just have one more guaranteed elite. Shelled Parasite is a right bastard. I can't help you with that one, Eric, if that's one you want help on. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to scrape and scrounge here. Yes, let's draw both dagger sprays. Here we go. Terror is quite good here. Okay, so I could become cursed here. Because with Blue Candle, it's not that bad. And I heal 18 HP. I think that's probably correct here. So I think the runs where I die to these shelled parasites are quite frequent. Like, I have to block so much. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be precious about 3 max health here. I love me an Abacus. I love me an Abacus, but I'm not going to buy it. Because the card remove's just better. Um, do I just get the upgrade pot and try and carry with that? I think that's probably enough to win most of these fights here. And we'll do upgrade probably actually on the no, neutralize is the much better. Well, it's not much better, but it's marginally better here. I think I do want... I feel like there's some question marks that help. That's not one of them. Actually, okay, so I could give up 1 HP and 1 card per fight for 150 gold. And that would be interesting for sure. Oh, I had a lethal there. Lol. Okay. Well, still got lethal in the end for no extra damage. Oh, a question card's pretty good. Caltrops I could take here. I feel like I don't usually take Caltrops, and that might be why this day's going so badly for me, is I'm taking cards that I shouldn't take. Okay, I've played Calculated Gamble so far 0 times, which is dicey. Oh my, okay, hold on, Jeff. Hold on, Jeff. Do some frickin' math. Think for like 2 seconds. I was thinking I was weakened, so I would have no way of killing here, but this is just lethal. I think if people want to do an unbanned tournament that is super cool, I would be surprised. It's unlike most things that the SBT typically does, but I'm definitely open to the idea of doing more weird and alternate formats. I love me a well-laid plans. I love me some well-laid plans. I think that's okay. I think Caltrops is like actually just about enough scaling for this fight. Like it becomes do 12. It does quite a bit of damage in this fight in particular, and it's good into quite a few Act 2 fights. Now I don't really have enough block to make it good. Which is going to be a challenge. Yeah, keep an eye out. We have some intention of doing some pre-dawn, I'll call them fun formats. Yeah, we have some plans for side events for next year. Suffice it to say, side events next year are going to look different than they did this year. And the startup event's going to look like... Yeah, it's going to look... We're pretty confident it's going to look fairly different. Because I think the startup event... Like, we did a learn to play event on the side this year. I think that ends up being a much better use for a lot of the players that would do startup normally. Maybe not normally is the right word. But I think, like, yeah, putting more support towards formats that people are, like, the people that show up to play at Worlds are more jazzed about is a thing. So, and I would like to play an Eternal Side event next year. Now, is that possible? You know, I organize it? Almost certainly not. But yeah, it's funny. I'm pretty sure I played 0 games of Netrunner, unless you call playing Netrunner me talking about Chris's lines over his shoulders and pissing off Ian and Whiteblade, or no, pissing off Whiteblade to beyond all belief, which I gotta say, one of my peak experiences from Worlds was driving Whiteblade up the wall while talking about Chris's lines. 10 out of 10 would annoy Eric again. Okay, so Alchemize is probably the best of these 4. Envenom is like a scaling solution that we don't have right now, and actually goes well with all of our damage cards. I think I'm going to take Envenom. It's not good, but I think I'm going to take it. Weird. Almost like Burst could give us 6 chips, which could all do 3 extra damage. Weird. Yeah, Alchemize is almost certainly the correct take here, because it is scaling in a lot of ways. It's probably more correct, and then we just hope we get into other... I'm curious about what people think we should take. Thinking the Alchemize is right? I'm not sure. No, Andre, I got to the air... So, my flight started... My boarding time for my flight started at 6:30. I decided that I could wake up at 5:10 and make it to the airport on time to catch my flight. I think it was only a 20-minute lift to the airport. So I would get there at 5:30. I was like, that's an hour before boarding. What could possibly go wrong? Because in Boston, I have not had to go through security for longer than 15 minutes. Except on like the day before Thanksgiving or Christmas, I think. But SFO is not that efficient. And so I did get somewhat close to missing my flight. Okay, now if I had taken the Envenom, I would feel like a boss because I would have Snecko Eye, but it's fine. Well, we can't take this. This deck is a terrible Snecko deck. So we're just gonna roll some bones. Okay, that did make the deck significantly better, though. Is my deck good enough to take this Burning Elite? No, I've just been talking about how it has nothing. Okay. So I need to, like, this is the thing. Against Champ, Envenom would probably be sick. But I think this is probably the route. Okay, so I could play the Die here. Or I could go well-laid plans to defend Alchemize. And try and get the burst, because 25, this will be dealing 11 to 2 enemies twice. So I do now need to draw back into my Alchemize, but we'll just do that. I'm a doofus. Well, after I say, oh yeah, usually these guys don't hurt that much. Lost all my health. I love me some Blur. This is not a good Blur deck. It could become a good Blur deck. It actually could. But Blur is bad here. So we just opened up the side gate and walked me and Derek through the scanner. Yeah, to be fair, that is what happened to me in Boston. So, okay, I'm going to do a dumb decision because I've been told by my wife that I need to get going to bed. We're going to do stuff that is fun now rather than optimal. Yeah. Imagine how I draw like Caltrops here, though. There's our dagger spray. So this guy dies for free. Caltrops. Oh, I could have sequenced this better. But you know what? I didn't, and we're just gonna let it lay. Okay, look, Ian. Look. Okay. I mean, look, would you be right here? Yes. Would this be the sickest Shiv deck of all time? Absolutely. Oh, I still didn't get my Alchemize off that fight either. I should have done that. No, this is like a great Ghost deck, honestly. Well, it's not a great Ghost deck because I don't have anything to scale into. Taking my Envenom would have given me something to scale into, but... I think I have another one still in there. These are all dazes? They're not all dazes. Great. Alright, just gotta survive 20 damage somehow. Well, I'm just fucking dead. I think this was a good Ghost. I think I'm just playing this fight very, very sloppy. Yeah, it's so sloppy that I'm dead, I believe. Oh no, I'm still alive. Okay. Somehow. Piercing Wail does seem quite good. Fuck, this would be a Shiv deck, though. This Shiv deck would pop off. This would be the sickest Shiv deck of all time. Oh, that's so fucking funny. I probably should have just eaten the strength pot. Oh, I think Predatoring the left was actually taking less damage. Really? Okay, this deck is like just a pile of nothing. It like can get there with Kunai, but it's not going to. I think this might be a backflip take. I think I do want to try and take that elite. Chink, chink, tink, tink. Just do this. And that. Okay, so +2, so all my cards will block for their normal amount. Oh, that one blocks for one less than the normal amount. Which is not ideal. Actually, Caltrops is pretty fine in this fight. Oh, I should have popped this Essence of Steel. What am I thinking? Woof. Okay. Yep, that's all she wrote. Could have played that one better, but so it goes. I guess playing that Alchemize was just straight up dead on board unless I get into the one Ghost pot. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thanks everyone who came out to Worlds. You'll expect to see some stuff from us this week. I also actually want to give a plug. In the Worlds Discord, I posted a link to in the announcements channels. If you have a World anecdote or memory you want to share, we're trying to put together a little collage of them, or like post sharing them with some anonymization, I think. And so if that's something that you have some stuff for, please go check that out. I think it's a great idea. And then in the coming weeks, you'll see some surveys about just feedback on Worlds, and then probably some stuff on the OP season, applications for districts and megacities will be out probably next week. Might be the week after, but probably next week. So keep an eye out for those. And, you know, I hope you all have wonderful and safe trips back from Worlds and recoveries from Worlds. And, yeah, thanks everyone who showed up. Thanks everyone who tuned in. And catch you all next week.